Hello everybody, my name is Thomas White. I'm back here with my second informative speech. Now, I don't really want to bore you, but this is probably my favorite class, and it's probably my favorite player. It is Jason Taylor, and so I'm doing my informative speech on this week, and his full name is Jason Paul Taylor, and I'm a little bit obsessed. Got the jersey, got the hat, got a signed autograph from him. Come on. Love this man. So, here we go. His early years, he went to, he was born on September 1st, 1994. He was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He went to Woodlands High School, where he set many records there, sacks, tackles, and interceptions. None of those which I can find, but it was in some of his speeches that he had throughout his career. Never had any numbers, but he did set a lot of records there. Jason has two siblings, Noah Taylor and Joy Taylor. If you are sports fans and you watch ESPN or Fox Sports 1, Joy Taylor is a commentator on Fox Sports 1 and previously ESPN. His college years, he went to the University of Akron, where he still holds the record for sacks in a career. He played 3 years there. He went there for 4 years, played 3 years as a starter. He has 21 quarterback sacks in a 12-game span. You only play 12 games in college. To have 21 sacks in 3 years, that's amazing. Most people barely get 11. He recorded 279 tackles, 7 forced fumbles, and 3 interceptions on top of those 21 sacks. He was a two-time All-American his junior and senior year. He was the number 2 prospect in 1997 when he was going to the draft. He fell down a little bit due to his weight and his height. He was 6'4", 244 coming out of college. Most people thought he was too big to play linebacker, too small to play defensive end. Only behind Orlando Pace, who was drafted number 1 by the St. Louis Rams that year. He also not only was just a football junkie, Jason Taylor double majored in political science and criminal justice. The NFL Draft, 1997, when Jason Taylor was taken in his rookie season. He was drafted in the 3rd round with the 73rd pick by the Miami Dolphins. Of course, my favorite team. Love them. And he played defensive end in Akron. Head coach at the time, Jimmy Smith, previously from the Dallas Cowboys, who won Super Bowls with Dallas Cowboys, came to the Miami Dolphins that year as well in 1997. And he thought, wow, Jason Taylor, 6'6", 244, let's put him on the defensive line. That year, his rookie year, Jason Taylor recorded 5 sacks and 2 fumble recoveries. He spent 10 seasons with the Miami Dolphins from 1997 to 2007. And in that time span, he had 5 different head coaches. Dave Wannstedt, Jimmy Johnson, Cam Cameron, Nick Saban, and Tim Boats, I think his name was. He was an interim head coach for 3 games. Don't remember his name right off the top of my head. But in that time span, Jason Taylor was one of the NFL's greatest players in that time span. He had record-breaking stats in 10 years with the Miami Dolphins. He recorded 117 quarterback sacks. It took another 5 years for that to be broken by J.J. Watt. When he played 10 seasons, he had about 125 sacks in his first 10 years. He had 39 forced fumbles in those 10 years, 23 of them which he recovered, 7 interceptions, and he scored the ball 4 times in that time frame. In 2006, the Miami Dolphins went 9-7 under the first-year head coach Nick Saban. He also won Defensive Player of the Year, which is the highest honor for a defensive player in the NFL. He was 32 years old at the time. He played. There's 16 games in the NFL season. He played all 16. 2 interceptions for 71 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 9 forced fumbles. That's still 3rd of all time in a season for a defensive player. Of those 9 forced fumbles, he recovered 2, 33 yards. He had 13 and a half sacks. Half sacks means him and another player joined to the quarterback. That's why I don't get a half of it. For people who don't know, don't insult your intelligence. And out of that, he had combined 60 tackles and 40 solo tackles. He had 14 quarterback hits. That sounds like a low number because a lot of quarterback hits happen now. but it's been a different ball game. It's been 10, 15 years since he won the MVP. So it's a different time in the NFL, and he was the best player in that time frame. In 2008, Jason Taylor went to the Washington Redskins, which he recorded 3.5 sacks that year. He was injured a lot, so he only had 3.5 sacks, so he played like 8 games. In 2010, Jason Taylor signed with the Miami Dolphins' rival, the New York Jets. Ugh, I hate the Jets. But he recorded 7 sacks that year, and one of those was for a 2-point safety. Excuse me. Of those 2 years, Jason Taylor, recorded 10.5 sacks, and he was only the second player of the age 33 and up to record more than 10 sacks in that 2-season span. He returned to the Miami Dolphins in 2009, a year after he went to Washington, and then he went in 2010 to the New York Jets. He returned back to the Miami Dolphins in 2011, where he played his final year. Before the year, he said he was going to retire a Miami Dolphin. In that year, he had 3.5 sacks one more time. His final game was against the New York Jets, in which the Miami Dolphins stadium was sold out, and the Miami fans and the whole bench carried him off and gave him a standing ovation. Jason Taylor finished with amazing stats as a man who only played 15 seasons. He had 139.5 sacks, 46 forced fumbles, 7 interceptions, 6 of those which were returned for, 5 of those, were returned for a touchdown. He returned 1 fumble recovery for a touchdown. And I'm very proud to say that in his career, he sacked Tom Brady 13.5 times. I hate Tom Brady. My sources, I got a lot of these information from Pro Football Reference. It's a very good website to get any kind of stats, which got me the stats, which are new by heart. It's 39.5 sacks and 46 forced fumbles. His early years were really hard to find, so I did not want to use Wikipedia, but I found them on American Football. I had to look, I'm very sorry. American Football Database Fandom.com. Jason Taylor was a fantastic player, fantastic spokesperson for the Miami Dolphins organization, and still is highly involved in the organization. To cap off this amazing career, 15 seasons in the NFL, in 2017, Jason Taylor was inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he was inducted by Jimmy Johnson, the head coach who drafted him, and he said this, quote, "I always had the fire burning inside to push myself to be the best. You have to have that inside of you. If you don't have that inside of you, then no one can push you farther than you push yourself." And that was Jason Taylor's in his speech when he was inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Jason Taylor was named to the NFL's All-Decade team in the 2000s, and I got that off also Pro Football Hall of HOF.com, and these are my sources. I hope I didn't bore you all. I love football. This is my very favorite player. He is a one-of-a-kind player, and I want to leave off with some positive notes, so here's some highlights of Jason Taylor. Appreciate it.